What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We have this nice question that says, find the value of x that satisfies the square root of 2 minus the square root of 2 plus x equal to x. Now, take a look at something. When you take the square root of a number, the answer is always 0 or positive. That means x must be positive. Also, the number under the big square root must be positive. That means 2 minus the square root of 2 plus x must be positive. And the number under the small square root, that is 2 plus x, must also be positive. And this is true because if x is positive and I plug it in here, the result will always be positive. So all we have to worry about is x must be 0 or positive. So let's take note of this constraint. So our first step will be for us to remove the outer square root, which is the bigger square root, by taking the square of both sides. So I'll take the square of the left. I'll also take the square of the right. Now see that this square cancels out the square root. So we are left with 2 minus the square root of 2 plus x to be equal to x squared. Now our next step will be for us to get rid of this square root, but we have to isolate it. And we do that by moving it to the right hand side. So we have 2. I'm going to be moving x squared to the left hand side so that it becomes minus x squared. And this is equal to, now I'll move negative square root of 2 plus x to the right so that it becomes positive 2 plus x. Good. Now let's take the square of both sides. So I'll take the square of the left. I'll also take the square of the right. Now we see that this square cancels out the square root. So we are left with 2 plus x on the right hand side. Now squaring the left hand side, we have 4 minus 2 times 2 times x squared. We're going to have 4x squared. And then plus x squared raised to the power 2 will give x to the power of 4. And this is equal to, remember, we're left with 2 plus x. Good. Now let's move everything to one side of the equation. We have x to the power of 4 minus 4x squared. And then when x crosses, it becomes minus x. And then again, we have 4, good. And then when 2 crosses, it becomes minus 2. And this is equal to 0. And when we simplify further, we're going to have x to the power of 4 minus 4x squared minus x. Now 4 minus 2 is 2. And this is equal to 0. Good. Now let's factor out x squared from the first two terms. X squared is common, so factored out. Open bracket. X to the power of 4 divided by x squared. We have x squared minus 4x squared divided by x squared. We have 4 minus. Now I'm going to be putting this inside of a bracket. So I'll open up a bracket and I'll write x. Since I have negative outside, negative times positive results in negative. So 2, and this is equal to 0. Now I can simplify this like this. X squared times x squared minus 4 is same as 2 squared. Then minus x minus 2 equal to 0. Now notice this expression. This is an expression in difference of two squares. So we have x squared, and an expression like this can be expressed as x minus 2 times x plus 2. That is it for difference of two squares. Minus, here we have x minus 2, and this is equal to 0. And notice that x minus 2 is common. Let's factor out x minus 2. Factored out, we open up a bracket. Now this divided by x minus 2, we have x squared times x plus 2 remaining. Minus, now this divided by this, I'm going to be having 1. Very good. And this is equal to 0. Now, let's simplify what we have inside of this bracket. So we have x minus 2 times, now x squared times x is x cubed, plus x squared times 2 is 2x squared. Good. And then minus 1 equal to 0. So we have two cases. We have x minus 2 to be equal to 0, or we have x cubed plus 2x squared minus 1 to be equal to 0. Now for the first case, in order to get the value of x, I'm going to be moving negative 2 to the right hand side so that we have x to be equal to, as negative 2 crosses, it becomes positive 2. Good. Now let's focus on our cubic equation. Well, in order to make this equation to be factorizable, all we have to do is to split 2x squared. So we have x cubed. Now splitting this, we have x squared plus x squared, which results to 2x squared minus 1 equal to 0. Now we can factorize. Notice that x squared is common from the first two terms. So factor out x squared. Open brackets. X cubed divided by x squared is x, plus x squared divided by x squared is 1. Good. Plus, now notice something again. X squared minus 1 is also difference of two squares. Because if I have to put square here, 1 squared is still 1, so it's still the same thing. So we express this in difference of two squares, which is x minus 1 times x plus 1. That is it. And this is equal to 0. And notice once more that x plus 1 is common. So we can factor out x plus 1. Now open brackets. Now this divided by this, we have x squared plus, and this divided by this, we have x minus 1. Very good. And this is equal to 0. Now we have two cases once again. We have x plus 1 to be equal to 0, or we have x squared plus x minus 1 to be equal to 0. Now for the first case, it is easy for us to get the value of x by moving 1 to the right hand side to become negative 1. Now we're going to be using the quadratic formula to solve this. So here our a is 1, our b is 1, and our c is negative 1. Now using the quadratic formula, x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now let's substitute here. So we have x to be negative b is 1 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that is 1 squared, minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. That will be 2 times 1. So x now becomes negative 1 plus or minus the square root of, now 1 squared is 1. Now negative times negative is positive. 4 times 1 is 4. All over 2 times 1, that will be 2. So this makes x to be negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus 4 is actually 5 all over 2. Now this looks familiar. This is actually called the golden ratio. So there are two values of x from here, which are x equal to negative 1 plus the square root of 5 over 2, or x is equal to negative 1. Now this time go with the negative, minus the square root of 5 all over 2. Good. So we have the first solution we have for x is 2. The second is negative 1. Now this is first, this is second solution, this is third, and this is fourth. Actually, like we said, from the condition, x must be 0 or positive. So we can see that this will always result in negative. So we're going to be rejecting this. Then this again, we're going to be rejecting negative 1 as well because it is negative. Now, we're focused on 2 and this. Now, let's check in our original equation to see if 2 is a solution. Our original equation is the square root of 2 minus the square root of 2 plus x equal to x. Now, let's put 2 there. So this will be the square root of 2 minus the square root of 2 plus x is 2. This is equal to 2. So we check if the left and the right hand sides are equal. So this will be the square root of 2 minus, this is the square root of 4, right? Good. So equal to 2. So this results to the square root of 2 minus the square root of 4 is 2 equal to 2. Now see that the inside we have 0. This is equal to 2. So the square root of 0 is 0, which is not actually equal to 2. So we are also going to reject this. Now we are focused on just this as a solution, which is x equal to negative 1 plus the square root of 5 all over 2. Like I said, this is a golden ratio, which is approximately 0.618. And I believe this is the correct solution for our given question. Well, feel free to share your ideas in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video and have learned something from this video, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my upcoming videos. And like I always say, until next time, take care.